Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005 on the channel. Here tonight, we are at the Dover International Raceway for our next race of the season. Just 8 more races remain on this season-long championship run. As of right now, a 322-point lead for Kevin Harvick with these final 8 races to go. And we go back to a track he won at earlier this season at Dover. Like, share, and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. We're going to have this action tonight for you. A doubleheader tomorrow where we will be taking care of business earlier in the day. I'm actually going to record the next race as soon as I end this stream tonight, so that way I can premiere that sometime tomorrow afternoon for you guys to watch that, so that way we can do our live commentary of tomorrow night's Richmond race on the channel. For the NASCAR Cup Series, I believe it starts at about 7:30. I'll have to check before. Let me check right now, actually. It's either 7 or 7:30 start time. Why is it not loading? Give me 1 second. Cars One Boy, welcome to the stream, by the way. First one down in the chat. 7:30 is the Cup race tomorrow. I will not be able to watch the Xfinity Series race because I will have to work, but 7:30 it is for tomorrow night. Not going to keep you waiting any longer, though, here for this one. We're going to get the Stacker 200 at Dover underway. An all RCR front row for the 3rd race in a row, 2nd race in a row in which Kevin Harvick will be starting on the pole. Green flag is in the air at Dover. A little contact getting into the first turn between the 2 and the 21. Hornaday still a little loose off the exit of the corner, and Harvick is going to be able to hold on to the race lead, it looks like. And he'll be the first to nab bonus points by leading lap 1. Patrick Chatterley, welcome to the stream. Cody, we're out 2 races for CO2 poisoning. I had heard something about it, but I didn't hear it from like an actual source at the time. I just kind of heard about people. I should say I had read about people talking about it, like in comment sections and stuff, but I haven't actually like seen anything on it, so I didn't know if it was true or not. That he had carbon dioxide poisoning. How did he get it? Was it like in the race car or something? Or was it like non-racing related? I don't really know if I have like thoughts on it other than hopefully he has a well and full recovery. Don't want anybody to go through that. I'm not a doctor by any means, so I don't know like what the treatment goes for something like that either. Billy Kramer, welcome to the stream. Kevin Harvick definitely setting himself up early on. About a 4/10 of a second lead, roughly. Setup we had in qualifying, I liked it because it felt really fast, but it felt a little too loose where I felt like if we got longer into a tire stint that the car was going to be way too hard to hold on to. One of the higher banked racetracks we just talked about in the last race. We were on a higher bank. Oh no, never mind. I guess that was in my cup race that I that I did yesterday that you guys have not seen yet. That will be premiered next week. So anyway, with the higher banked racetracks in this game, it just seems like it's easier to handle than the flatter tracks. I should say the EA Sports games in general, not just NASCAR 05. Somebody is on pit road, at least on lap 9, coming to the start-finish line that time by up in smoke. Looks like it's going to be an engine failure. I can't tell exactly who that is. It's a blue car of some sort. And if it's Ron Hornaday, he was third in points coming into this one. He wasn't that far behind Kyle Busch for second. That'd be a tough break for him. Jackson Thomas, DB Forever 85. Terry Lewis, welcome to the stream. We got somebody else on pit road as well, just a couple laps after the first driver had a blown engine. On lap 12, somebody is making an unscheduled pit stop. Good battle for second going on side by side into turn 1 as they're about 0.6 of a second off the race lead. It's going to allow Harvick to get away a little bit, but we'll see if the new driver who has just taken over second place can try to run down Harvick and battle him early on. Ethan, welcome to the stream. Choke 600 with, 8 sets of tires. That's what I give myself at the cup races. Yeah, you'll have to tune in Sunday, see if I can do it. I think I can do it. I mean, honestly, if we get a lot of cautions, I'm going to have to stay out of the pits during a lot of cautions. And if we end up having to make a green flag stop and we get a weird caution somewhere in there, we could get trapped a lap down or two. We'll just have to see how that works. But I know as far as like making on tires itself, I'll have no problem doing it. Or should have no problem doing it. Something Wong, welcome to the stream. I'm assuming that you're a fan of Winvow's channel. What series was it? Was it his NASCAR 05 playthrough where he was something Wong? I forget what playthrough it was that he had that as his character name. Denny Hamlin could very well win 2 in a row. Watch Denny Hamlin pull a Tony Stewart 2011 and, the only difference with Denny Hamlin, though, is he had a consistent season before the playoffs started. Tony Stewart, he was like borderline 10th place driver in points all season, and then once the chase started in 2011, he just went on a hot streak. His came out of nowhere, seemingly. At least Hamlin's had the consistency this year, so you were kind of wondering, can he actually strike? Or Tony Stewart, it was like, he's going to be lucky to get a win this year, and then it's like, all of a sudden, he just rattled 5 of the last 10 off. It's like if, trying to think of a guy who's been like 10th in points all year without a win. Harvick, I guess. Yeah, Harvick was like 8th, 9th in points all season in the regular season standings. I know in the playoff standings he was a little lower, but he was like top 10 in points all year, but he just wasn't winning. That was kind of like Tony Stewart. I guess Tony was a little worse, but that'd be the most relatable. It's like if Kevin Harvick came into the playoffs with the season he had in the regular season, and he just goes on and wins like 5 of the last 10 races. Really absurd. Well, you got to figure, with him winning this weekend, that's 5 more playoff points that's going to carry over with him into the next round. And knowing he had no wins going into the first round, every win he gets from this point on, that's going to help him more and more and more. So even though he was, like the number 7 seed or 6 seed, whatever it was, coming in, gets a couple wins this round, he could easily be, a 2 or 3 seed. Harvick has not had any pressure on him since that opening lap of the race. We're already to lap 23. So far, caution free. I mean, Hamlin beat Larson straight up this weekend. No reason why he can't do it again. Still can't tell who's in second place right now. Doesn't look like a very familiar car that we've seen up towards the front a whole lot this season. I'm thinking it might be David Stremme, but I might be wrong on that too. It could be another Cup regular. Should have some Cup Series regulars in this race. I do recognize a third place car. That would be Bobby Hamilton Jr. in the 25. He's 4th in points, really trying to make a late season charge. But if anybody else is going to have a shot to win this championship, they're going to need Kevin Harvick to either have a super bad performance either once or twice, or they're at least going to need 1 DNF out of him and then start to beat him straight up outside of the 1 DNF. And the later we get into the season, if Harvick keeps holding on to this lead, it's just the more and more chance he's going to have of clinching the title, obviously. Harvick up the track a little bit, gets it to cut down in the center of the corner, no problem. I think it is David Stremme in second. I still just can't tell because I haven't been able to see the number yet. Stremme would be in the 32 car. Hamilton Jr., though, he is right there as well. Third place, just kind of being patient early on. There are actually 3 drivers out of the race now. Somebody else has just pulled the pit road this lap. So in the first 30 laps, 3 drivers have had engine failures. My goodness. Still no caution. Had 4 caution-free races so far this season. 2.5-mile racetracks will be the next 2 races on this Busch Series schedule at Kansas and then Lowe's Motor Speedway, now known as Charlotte Motor Speedway. Both 300-mile, 200-lap races there. It's 200 miles, 200 laps. So this is a pretty short race. It's good for me because I'm doing 2 of these races tonight. Again, you guys will only see 1 of these tonight. I will be premiering the other race I'm going to run tonight on the channel tomorrow while I'm at work. I'll try to set it up to where I'll start it or have it run through like one of my breaks. So that way I can hop in the chat with you guys. Oh, Bobby Hamilton hard into the wall. He jumped up to second place the lap prior, and then he got into turn 1 way too deep. Way up the track he went and hard into the outside wall, and he's back to third place again. And all of a sudden, Harvick's got a little over a half a second lead once again as well. A second place car had to check up quite a bit, even getting around Hamilton. And Hamilton's going to get him right back in turns 1 and 2, it looks like. It was a pretty hard hit. so we don't get free. I think I was looking back. I've won like 11 or 12 races so far this season. No, we have not. I've not been giving those away since. I mean, you go out and buy one, I guess, for like a celebratory victory. Or you talk about the championship. See, the problem is I don't eat sweets, so like I can't even like celebrate. Hamilton did close back up on Harvick pretty quickly. A lot wider entry into turn one that time, but Harvick is gripping the bottom pretty good. Nothing but clean air so far, though, for the 21, which has made it even easier for them. They have been nowhere close to lap traffic so far. One of these times, Hamilton might be able to get underneath him because that 25 car has been the only one to really put a threat on Harvick in the first 38 laps now. And he is all over the back bumper coming off the exit of turn 4. Can Hamilton make the move? Third place starting to lose a little bit of ground. He's really going to have to protect that bottom because if Hamilton gets one good look, he will be there for the taking. Harvick has hit his marks throughout this one so far. Wants to continue to do that. Now, if I also remember correctly, the last time we were at Dover, it was going to be a fuel mileage race. But then we had a caution in the second half of the race, which made it not be a fuel mileage race. So we'll have to wait and see if we might end up having that here tonight as well. Boy, that is not something you would want as a points leader late in the season. If you can help that at all costs. Really does put a driver in a box of how hard he can really push and run. Not gotten halfway on fuel yet. That caution would have to come out in the second half of the race, though, for it to not be a fuel mileage race. Because if it comes out in the first half, everybody will still have to pit one more time, even if they were to pit under the caution. Get the lap 50. That's obviously half of 100, and 100's a half of 200, and this is a 200 lap race. But it's still holding on with a great deal of pressure for the moment. Caution, first time today, trouble off of turn 2, lap 47. We'll see exactly who it was. There was a spin, hard hit. Oh, man, really hard hit. I believe that's Trey Murray in the 103 car. Slid right rear into the wall first, then slapped the right front, but as he started backing down the baking, he ended up getting hit on the right side of his race car by somebody else. Harvick's going to stay out of the pits. And I believe everybody else is going to stay out of the pits as well. So this is going to be even closer now to being a one-stop race to the finish with this caution. Green flag back in the air at lap 51. Field bunched up again as Harvick gets a great launch down into turn 1. And they had not hit lap traffic yet. Harvick going to try to block Hamilton into turn 3. Hamilton drives it in deep. He's underneath Harvick. So Harvick got the great launch initially. Hamilton's trying to get a run on him. Harvick makes a bit of a mistake off of turn 4. Hamilton going to get 5 bonus points leading his first lap of the race. Harvick trying to hang in there on the outside as he side drafts Hamilton's right rear corner panel. Barely holding on to his race car into turn 3. This is a battle for the race lead. Harvick trying to pinch Hamilton down again. They're so close to making contact. Harvick again squeezes into the wall, and finally that's going to allow Hamilton to clear. A couple mistakes by Harvick finally allowed Hamilton to nab the lead. See, the problem is I don't know if we hit halfway on fuel at all. Harvick slides underneath Hamilton. Drives it deep into turn 1. Hamilton cuts down the track trying to side draft like Harvick did, but it wasn't enough, and Harvick's clear off turn 2, and he's back out in front himself. Dark Crypto, welcome to the stream. 3-car breakaway on the restart again. Lead has changed hands for the first time today, with Hamilton getting a few laps let in there. And now at lap 55, Harvick hits halfway on fuel. So you would think that these drivers can make it on one stop now with that caution on lap 47. They were able to save fuel. 3 laps were burned under the yellow. Harvick's definitely going to push this tank as far as he possibly can still. That definitely could have changed the strategy. I don't think a single car came onto pit road, though. At least our crew chief didn't tell us that anybody came into the pits. It didn't look like anybody ducked in line behind us. Or ducked down onto pit road behind us when we stayed out under the caution. Pretty much the same running order, too. That restart was allowing Hamilton to make the pass on Harvick. He led a few laps, enough to get 5 bonus points. And not knowing exactly where Kyle Busch or Ron Hornaday Jr. have been in this race today, that can mean wonders for Bobby Hamilton Jr. to, who knows, maybe get up to second place in points himself. He's not far behind Hornaday for third still. And he's within 1 race worth of points of Kyle Busch. He had 3 drivers who blew an engine before that first caution and even waved. Who's to say anybody would have not DNF'd during that last yellow as well. A few cars involved, a couple hard hits in there, especially for the 103 of Trey Murray. The caution did kind of help Harvick, not only for the fuel mileage side of things, but the fact that they never quite hit lap traffic yet. And although he lost the lead initially, on the restart he got it back pretty quickly. Problem is, the driver he lost points to, one of the few that is still trying to cling on to championship hopes. But I guess of the 3 behind Harvick trying to chase him, if any of them had to get bonus points, Bobby Hamilton Jr. would probably be the most likely candidate to receive those points in Harvick's mind. with him being the furthest back of the three. Hamilton trying the high side through turns 1 and 2. Maybe get a run down the back straightaway. He's definitely trying something different. Harvick's got a very good long run race car. Really an all-around race car. Harvick's got the track position. He's got the clean air. He is solid. Gonna alternate through the different camera angles for the first time in the race today. Once we get back to the start-finish line, we'll do that for about a 4-lap stretch. Harvick's car is definitely starting to get looser in the back half of this opening tire stint. Trying to make sure he doesn't slide up the racetrack enough for Hamilton to get a good run and get underneath him. Well, that might have been a chance. Harvick didn't slide up the track as much as I thought he was going to. Hamilton a much wider arc getting into turn 1. Trying to look low again. Harvick gonna throw a block down the front straightaway, but now he walks up the track into turn 1. Bobby Hamilton Jr. again to the inside for the race lead, and Harvick's gonna lift and let him go off the exit of turn 2. Harvick just shoved all the way up the track, not only on corner entry, but even on corner exit a little bit. He didn't have enough grip, so he just let Hamilton go, and this is the second time now that Bobby Hamilton Jr. has led in this race. Harvick gonna get underneath him off turn 2. Way down low. Hamilton trying to chase him down there to side draft him, and he actually clipped Harvick. That was not clean. Harvick almost put it in the wall off turn 4. Now he's going to side draft Hamilton. No contact there. A little dirty by Hamilton. Harvick holding on. Look at him all over the 25. Being very aggressive with that side draft down the back straightaway. Trying to hold the high side again. Hamilton going to try to clear and barely does. He was committed to clearing Harvick off turn 4 that time, but Harvick's going to cross it back over in turn 1. On the other end of the racetrack, as these guys' tires start to wear out the more they race each other. Harvick going to get back to the lead down the back straightaway into 3. A little battle for a brief moment there. Hamilton almost got up into the wall off turn 4, pushing really hard to try and get back to Harvick again. Hamilton has definitely by far been Harvick's biggest threat in this race. So those first 40 laps are pretty silent. And right before the caution, Hamilton was contending for the lead. Got the timely restart after the yellow, and one-on-one with Harvick, he just flat out beat him. Twice now, in fact. Earl Arnold Jr., welcome to the stream. Fuel window is right around 100 laps, so we might see some drivers only have to make 1 stop. Some drivers going to make 2. We did have a caution in this race, so drivers were able to save a little bit of fuel. I think for Harvick's sake, he should be able to make it on one stop today. Should. Unless we get another caution in a really weird spot. Who remembers the NASCAR Thunder 2004 fuel mileage finish we had at Chicagoland? We came from behind. We passed Jeff Gordon on the last lap from a huge deficit because he got held up in lap traffic enough, like those last 30 laps of the race or so, just to run out of fuel off of turn 4. And when we ran out of fuel, I tried to block him at the last second when he made the pass. He ran into the back of us, and we barely won the race. That was the craziest fuel mileage race we've by far ever had on the channel then or since. We don't get too many fuel mileage races on the channel. A lot of it is because of NASCAR heat and stages. Which, I mean, you still could get fuel mileage races. It just depends on when the last caution is. If you get an actual incidental yellow. It seems to happen a lot more often and more organically with this. I guess the last fuel mileage race we would have had was in the Truck Series at New Hampshire on this game. And we ran out of fuel. We were a couple laps short, but we did go to a green-white checker too, though. I think we would have had enough. But then when we went to the green-white checker, we ran out like a half a lap after the restart. We just didn't have enough fuel to run those extra laps. This is a bummer. Harvick starting to pull away from Bobby Hamilton Jr. now. About 0.8 of a second lead at lap 80. What happened in yesterday's stream? You talking about the Dover race we did, or are you talking about the online lobby? I thought it was pretty calm for the most part. We had that incident at the end of the online lobby stream where we had some intentional wrecking going on in the last 2 races, but I'd assume I mean, you would think it'd be calmed down. If we all act like adults in the chat, then yes, I mean, it should be all calm. Shouldn't be arguing about an online video game race a day after the fact. Not like we were racing for money or anything. Still no lap traffic in this race today. That caution came out at a good point where these guys never really caught lap traffic. Caution, lap 84, and that is going to be the weird one. Oh, wow. Big crash. Jimmy Hill catches air off of turn 4. Slamming the outside wall up on 2 wheels and kind of got hit underneath the car by Lance Brantley in the 109. Never completely flipped. And Harvick's going to pit. And everybody else stays out. Oh my goodness. Well, this is going to be very, very interesting. 4 tires and fuel, no adjustments for the 21 of Harvick. I don't see anybody else coming onto pit road. Did that caution come out just a little bit too soon for Harvick to pit and be able to make it on fuel to the finish? I was playing it safe by pitting there, and I'm thinking we might be a few laps short. We hit halfway on gas at lap 55, which means we can go to about lap 110, so 110 laps. So that was with a caution. It is lap 88 on the restart. Harvick back to 40th. The only 3 cars he's ahead of are the 3 cars that have DNF'd in this race on engine failures. Everybody involved in an accident. Not been in a crash, but boy, 80 lap pressure tires for Harvick. He's going to try to rip through this field. He's got to be careful, though. We've seen 2 pretty hard hits off the exit of a corner. Driver's getting a little too loose. There's Jimmy Hill, who was just involved in that last accident. Harvick with a very deep dive off the exit of turn 2 will carry that run into 3. Very tight but clear. Well, this is what 80 lap pressure tires at Dover looks like. Everybody else will have to pit. But will Harvick be able to make it? I don't know. He's going to need at least a caution. Probably 2 cautions. Harvick could get 2 cautions in this race. He might make it, but I think that's what he's banking on at this point if he's going to want to make it on fuel. He had 2 yellows in the first 84 laps, so, it's not impossible. We're pacing to have 2 more at least. That doesn't really mean anything to pace. Bobby Hamilton Jr. is now leading laps. Oh boy, hang on. Contact there off the exit of turn 4. Oh, we got trouble. Big crash off of turn 2. Cars checking up everywhere. Another accident. Well, there's one of the 2 cautions. And that's the dangers of being back in the pack. And, well, Dover's a self-cleaning racetrack. Dwayne Borland gets loose, slaps the wall. About 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 plus cars kind of got stacked up behind. And Harvick's going to pit again. He's going to top off on fuel. Will anybody else come back down? Oh, they all stay out again. Wow. Well, Harvick's going to be closer on fuel. This is the second set of tires he's going to take. If he's the only one pitting, might as well take tires. Problem is, he's going to be back in the pack further again, and we just saw another accident. So now 3 cautions in this race. Luckily, Harvick got to the brakes in time there. You can see the car's still clean. A lot of rubber on the grill, but that's about it. Dover, those concrete racetracks pick up a lot of rubber in the corners, though, too. Airborne cars are always exciting. In a video game, yes. In real life, it can look kind of scary sometimes, but... Well, good for Bobby Hamilton Jr. He's leading a lot of laps with these cautions. And he keeps holding on to the lead on the restarts on David Stremme. Green flag back in the air at Dover. Harvick trying to get a good launch. Well, now he's going to be very close on fuel, even if it goes green to the end. And when will the rest of these cars... Oh, we got trouble again! Big trouble. I think cars are trying to dive onto pit road. They may be running out of fuel, I think is the issue. I don't know. They were very slow, or they just all expected a ton of cars to make it onto pit road. I thought they were wrecking again. Going into 3, Harvick just shot the gap. Gained a ton of spots, so a lot of them ended up pitting anyway. He's definitely going to have to watch some of these cars wanting to come back down onto pit road, so he speeds by the 113. So will Harvick have enough gas to make it to the end? And once the field cycles through, though, Harvick's going to have at least a 1-lap lead on the field as he gets squeezed into turn number 1. I don't think that car on the outside realized he was down there. He shot the gap so quickly on about 90 lap pressure tires. More of the leaders coming in. Pitted 1 lap after the restart, and it just kind of makes you wonder, is Harvick maybe a lap short on fuel? can be saved, though. We're going to go to the high side 3 and 4. You notice with how abruptly that car dove down to the inside that another driver was going to be pitting. Stay subscribed to be eligible in your league. I hope that's not the only reason you're subscribed, but thanks for coming out anyway, though. Yeah, there's been a lot of problems. I feel like a lot of you guys haven't been getting notified of the streams lately. I've been getting that down in the comment section like a lot over the last week or so. Problem is, until I get to 1,000 subscribers, I'm not able to actually contact YouTube and say anything about it, because we had an issue with that a while ago where that was going on for like a month. We were having loyal subscribers missing the streams because they weren't getting notified. I try to do my best with a set start time, but on the days I work, it's just hard for me to get a set time. So I don't like to set the time on days I work, just in case I can't actually get to it. It was all over the place off turn 3 that time. He did cycle back to the lead. Well, we talked about coming into the race that this could be a fuel mileage race, and it is going to be that way. And the driver who is in the least likely chances of making it to the end on fuel would be Kevin Harvick. Yes, he's got a one-lap lead on the field, but that is because they just pitted after the yellow. And remember, Harvick would have had to restart at the back. Well, now everybody's on equal tires, so him restarting 40th, now everybody's on equal tires. It was going to take him a while to get up there if everybody was on equal tires. So running the pace he is running right now, if he did have to pit late in the going, would he actually cycle back to the lead? Yet to be determined. And if we get a caution, once again, which we've had 3 of them already, field is pretty spaced out after those green flag pit stops, though. But if we did get a caution and he pits, then everybody that's a lap down would get their lap back with the waiver on. Harvick would have fresher tires, but pretty close to the whole track would be back on the lead lap. Mike Bliss is the next car up ahead of Harvick. And the 20 for Joe Gibbs Racing. Well, at least with the strategy, Harvick should definitely clinch the most laps led. And he's got to be pretty close to doing it. It's only going to matter so much if he doesn't get a good finishing position if he can't make it on gas. Could ring it to losing the league. I mean, we'll be doing that league. I plan on doing it every year at least. Make it a 2-lap lead. I don't think that's going to happen. Bobby Hamilton Jr. has got similar speed to us in this race. I mean, you saw that once we had that first yellow and it kind of bunched the field back together, he was in second place. He was challenging back and forth for the lead. He must have started further back. That's why it might have taken him about 40 laps just to get to Harvick. Yeah, that lap lead, it really doesn't mean anything knowing the situation that Harvick is definitely going to be pushing it on fuel. The fuel mileage race with a championship pretty much on the line. Can't win it today. And in fact, no matter what happens, he'll still have the points lead because he does have over a 1-race lead in the standings. But a bad finish today, if he does not make it on field to the end and runs out. Well, I mean, now, I'll tell you what, though. If we're like 1 lap short, if we run out, come into the white flag, it's a 1-mile racetrack. He's got a 1-lap lead. Can we actually coast all the way around before we lose the lead? I feel like we could, depending on what our speed is at when we run out. Like if we're 170, like probably not hitting those speeds today anyway. If we're like 160, we run out of gas. We might make it. We gotta hope we don't get ran into from behind though too. There's no cautions on the final lap of a race, so I mean we're screwed if we just get blasted by somebody trying to pass us after we run out of gas. Seems like all the cautions we've had today have been pretty violent and hard hits. So there it is. 5 bonus points once again for now leading the most laps. That'll give him 10 bonus points total today. .80 laps to go currently in the race. Decent amount of lap traffic right in front of the 21 of Harvick now. Craig Miller just got into the outside wall off turn 2. Not hard. Just kind of lightly grazed it. So I'm late for the 100th time. Are you keeping count? Ashton Lewis, welcome to the stream, though. Sorry, Ashton G, not Ashton Lewis. Ashton Lewis. I can't believe I said that. Called you Ashton Lewis. Ashton G, welcome. We still have not seen Kyle Busch at all in this race. We saw Ron Hornaday very early on because he qualified second. We haven't really seen him since. Could you imagine if they both DNF'd? They were the two of the three drivers that blew an engine. Already had a massive points lead. I guess that would help us if we ran out of fuel. Yeah. Ashton Lewis, that's actually in our Busch Series race today. Yes. I don't know why I called you that. I haven't even seen Ashton Lewis in this race yet either, so I don't even know why I even said that. Just got a good run underneath the 124 car. Going to pull clear off turn 4 pretty easily. Passing these lap cars pretty cleanly right now. So again, we went green at lap 95 after the last caution, the most recent caution we had. So this is going to be a 106 lap run to the finish if it does go green for Harvick to try to make it on fuel. Everybody pitted after the yellow, and that's why he's got a 1 lap lead. We have had 3 cautions for incident today. All in the first 92 laps. Trey Murray, he was involved in that very first accident of the day back at lap 47. He's still running after a couple of hard licks. One with the outside wall and one after he ricocheted back down the racetrack off turn 2 and got T-boned in the right side door of the race car. I'm going to alternate through the different camera angles one more time. About the next 4 laps. Definitely got the potential of a nail-biter situation here today. Of can Kevin Harvick make it on fuel? Has he played the strategy right? And boy, if he does, what a genius move it was to pit under that last caution at lap 92. I'm just nervous as to where it's going to say we're halfway on fuel. I'm doing the math after going green from lap 95 to See if, well, mathematically, if we do have a shot at least. Oh, wiggle water, Jared Holmes. He made his way into turn 3. Harvick going to get underneath Holmes into turn 1. Holmes gave Harvick plenty of room. Harvick makes a nice clean pass. Now off the exit of turn 2, works himself underneath Keith Grimsley in the 119 car. Grimsley gives him enough room as well down there. Make a clean pass, and Grimsley goes another lap down. If we get a caution pit to make sure that we can make it, yeah. I think that would be the safe move. I know everybody would be getting back on the lead lap, but really the only issue I think we're going to run into with everybody getting back on the lead lap is if we have 2 cautions. Because if we have 1, yeah, they'll be on the lead lap, but they'll have older tires. We get a second one and guys start to pit, then we're in trouble. But Harvick's got to be committed at this point to staying out. Ideally trying to make it to lap 150. Before it says halfway on fuel at least. At least when his crew chief gives him the word that he's halfway on fuel. Oh man, got it a little early. Lap 148. Coming off the exit of turn 2 at lap 148, Harvick has hit halfway on fuel. You got to figure staying out this long after everybody else is already pitted, you have to stay out and make your bet that this is going to be the best chance to win the race at least. But it is a gamble because if he does not win, there's a good chance he could have a poor finish. Or if he does run out, hopefully he's got enough time to coast it with having this gigantic lead. Which is way underneath Terry Cook through turns 3 and 4. $50 laps to go now in Dover. I am so scared. I don't know if we're going to make it. Oh my gosh. With 8 races to go, Harvick has a 322-point lead in the standings over Kyle Busch coming into today's race at Dover. But knowing he may be short on fuel to the end, and trying to gamble with the pit strategy and with the fuel strategy to try and win this race, he can either grow that lead or substantially get a decent amount of points taken out of that lead if he has a poor finish running out of fuel. Knowing that for whatever reason in this game there's no green-white checkers with the Busch series, even though they're supposed to be, we did have a race end under yellow at California this year. If we got to like 3 laps to go, or just got the 2 to go, we get a caution that ends the race, I will be thanking the heavens so much for not letting me have to run those last couple laps. Caution, lap 155. That might be what Harvick needs. Trouble in turns 3 and 4. Our 4th caution of the race. Another hard hit. This one, Casey Atwood lost control, just slid up the track just like the first 4 cautions. That one was more in the center of the corner than the exit. This time, though, when he slid down the track, everybody missed him, and he slid all the way down to the grass on the inside. So Harvick is going to pit. He's going to now make it on fuel to the end, and we have a line of cars pitting as well. So he is not the only one making his way down. There will be some drivers taking the wave around to get back on the lead lap, though. But at least he doesn't have to worry anymore about being about a lap and a half to a lap and 3/4 shy on fuel. By my calculations, at least. So the fuel mileage race is taken out. It's kind of similar to our race at Dover earlier this year, where we were in a similar circumstance, close on fuel. And then we ended up getting a caution later in the race. Well, here we go. Green flag back in the air. Harvick going to restart in 4th, behind everybody who took the wave around, and a lot of lap cars on the inside of the racetrack as well, as the green flag's back in the air at Dover. He can make it on fuel, and he's got fresher tires than those who stayed out of the pits in front of him, so he's going to try to make it work. Look at the moves he's making on the bottom, and now Casey Atwood pulled down immediately in front, now slides up off the exit of 4 anyway. All these drivers are lap cars that he has passed so far. In fact, all of them have been lap cars that he has passed so far. Look at these fresher tires go to work, though. For Kevin Harvick, he's up to 3rd off of turn 2. And there's the 2 leaders, Bobby Hamilton Jr. and David Stremme. Hamilton trying to block Stremme off turn 4. Harvick in hot pursuit with 41 laps to go. Trying to get underneath Stremme. Off turn 2, he is underneath him. And he'll make the pass into turn 3 for 2nd, and he's all over Bobby Hamilton Jr. with the fresher tires. Hamilton wiggles up the track off turn 4. Harvick back to the lead. Can he clear Hamilton into 1? Drives it in deep. Yes, he does. Harvick quickly back out in front with the fresh tires. But obviously that gigantic lead is gone. There is still one more set of tires for those of you wondering for Harvick the remainder of this race. But I don't think he is going to be pitting anymore either. Unless everybody else pits. But granted, with being the leader, we won't know if everybody else pits under a caution until they have pit. So Harvick's got the clean air. He's got the fresher tires. He's looking to pull away. He's got about, excluding the caution laps, 50 to 55 lap fresher tires. That's quite a bit. Especially on this concrete surface at Dover. Remember, Hamilton got to the lead after that very first restart of the race in less than a lap, so who's to say we don't get a fifth caution in this race? The way things have fallen so far, that could be possible. Harvick definitely wants it to stay green now. Come on, white flag. Yes, indeed. I don't think these guys are going to catch lap traffic before the end of the race. I guess Harvick might because he's got fresher tires. But it's not a guarantee that lap traffic will be in play before the checkered flag. Hamilton half a second off the lead. Does he have anything for Harvick? He's slowly slipping away as he continues to try and defend on David Stremme. Remember, that field is probably more stacked on this restart than any other restart we've had in this race, just because it was double file through the first half of the field with the lap cars on the inside of the lead lap cars. Every other restart, there has been no lap cars. The first three before that. An oval with 4 right turns. Well, that's, like, are you thinking like the older EA games with the Tiburon? Was it Tiburon Speedway or Tiburon Speedway or Raceway? I don't know if it was Raceway or Speedway. It was like a reverse Daytona or Talladega. It's like a well, I think it was 3 miles too. It was like a 3-mile super speedway, but it was right turns instead of left turns. And because it was, at a point in NASCAR where there was no safer barriers, you basically would have a fatal wreck. Knowing that you're gonna, if you blew a left front tire, because you're gonna hit driver's side first. At over 200 miles an hour. On top of, with it being a super speedway, it was pack racing, so everybody behind you would have to scatter around as well. There's one in Finland. Well, I guess it kind of works for them, though, because their cockpits are on the right side of the car anyway, aren't they? So it actually might be a little bit better for them. And Hamilton's about 0.6 of a second off the lead now. 27 laps to go at Dover. Harvick's got to be feeling pretty comfortable with the situation he's in now. Pretty fresh tires. Back in the lead. Doesn't have to worry about fuel anymore. Like I mentioned, one pit stop and one caution was going to help him. He was going to be able to make it on fuel. He'd have a fresher tire advantage. A second caution, as the tires start to slowly even out later in this race, would just even the playing field again. And all those guys he allowed to get back on the lead lap by pitting now would have their chance to get back around him. And honestly, with one caution, that might have been enough for Harvick to make it on fuel and save enough gas under the yellow, but Guess he doesn't really have to, again, worry about it right now anyway. Just got to focus on hitting his marks, getting to the end of the race. Wider entry that time into turn 3 for Harvick. Didn't really lose any time though. Still got the car to cut in the center of the corner too. Looks like somebody else after the most recent restart is blowing an engine. Made their way to pit road. And they are parked for the rest of this race, it looks like. "20 laps to go for Kevin Harvick. Almost a 1-second lead over Bobby Hamilton Jr. and David Stremme. Strange that Hamilton has not pulled away from Stremme like he did in the first half of the race, and maybe Stremme's made some adjustments to get his race car a little bit quicker. To keep up at least with the 25. Older tires, though, no match to keep up with the 21 of Harvick. Not like it's a big enough track that you can get a good draft down the straightaways either. This might be our redemption if we can hold on to get the win here compared to the NASCAR Heat 5 career mode live stream we had yesterday at Dover where we wrecked out with about 120 to go. We had a couple accidents happen in front of us. We were able to brake in time before getting stacked up like a few other cars in the field did. And the other two accidents happened really nowhere close around us for us to even be close to being involved. Oh, 15 laps to go. Once Harvick hit that 1-second lead a few laps ago, he's really pulling away lap after lap. A 1.6 second advantage now over Bobby Hamilton Jr., who still has not yet gapped David Stremme. Harvick at this point just hoping everybody keeps it clean. What really scares me is on that track map that there is still a gigantic group of cars packed together. Pretty much the entire second half of the field looks like they're just all clumped together right now. Likely some battles for position going on in there late in this race as well. Could that cause a late race caution? 10 laps to go this time by. That pack really not starting to spread apart either. A little loose off turn 4 on his own that time. 9 to go as he pushes out to over a 2-second race lead over Bobby Hamilton Jr. and David Stremme. He is definitely not going to catch any lap cars the rest of the race, which you kind of figured after that last restart with about 43 laps to go that they likely weren't going to catch any lap traffic. Six laps remain. Countdown to 5. Oh boy. Even if you just get to a couple laps remaining, again, the Busch Series can end under caution. At that point right now, if a yellow waved right this minute, they may get a restart in, but they may not. Well, 4 to go. They'll add another less lap left on that leaderboard, and Kevin Harvick is out to a 2.5 second lead, roughly, off of turn 2 this time. Still trying to put together his fastest laps he could possibly run to get this race over with as quick as possible. Not giving any opportunity for a restart. Two to go. I don't think they're going to be restarting anytime soon. Not in this race, at least. White flag in the air, 1 lap to go off of turn 4 this time for Kevin Harvick. He has received the white flag. It'll be another win on the season, and it will be a Dover sweep for Kevin Harvick. Get out the brooms. Kevin Harvick will win again at Dover. 7 races to go as the championship lead grows with a max point stay. Most laps led. Another win for Kevin Harvick this season. And I think we've got another Polish victory lap in us. Big win for Kevin Harvick. Every win is so big this late in the year. I'll be carrying a little bit too much speed to go backwards here. I'm sliding around like crazy. Ugh. That's okay. We only had to get one of them in. So big win for Kevin Harvick. Only 4 drivers finished on the lead lap today with the caution coming out. I guess kind of in the middle of green flag pit stops, considering the field pitted right in between the 3rd and 4th caution flag of the race. Harvick did not pit in between those cautions, and the only drivers that got back on the lead lap were those 3 drivers that took the wave around. We saw a great deal of cars come on the pit road trying to top off to make sure that they were going to make it, that they may have pitted a little too soon. And there is a look at the top 10 once again. Kevin Harvick with the win, 177 of the 200 laps led today. We had 10 lead changes, 4 cautions for 12 caution laps. Bobby Hamilton Jr. came up second, leading 20 laps. David Stremme led 1 lap, finishing third. Blue Castleberry ends up fourth, last car on the lead lap. And J.J. Yadley rounds out the top 5. Ashton Lewis 6th, Tim Fiedel was 7th. Casey Atwood 8th, David Green 9th. And Sean Calloway will round out the top 10. I have no clue where Kyle Busch or Ron Hornaday finished. Kyle Busch DNF, so he was one of the drivers that DNF'd. He finished 41st, and Ron Hornaday DNF'd and finished dead last. No laps led for either one of those two. So the 2nd and 3rd place drivers in points blow an engine. That is the second blown engine for Kyle Busch in the last 5 races now. That has really, really derailed his chances. And with Harvick getting the max points day, boy, this race really flipped up on its head where it was looking like he was going to be short on fuel and wouldn't have lost a lot of points in hindsight because his 2 competitors, or most likely competitors, would have DNF'd. But next race at Kansas. What is that, the Mr. Good Sense 300? What kind of a race name is that? It's like a lot of the Xfinity Series race names they've had this season. Beef, it's what's for dinner 300. The call 811 before you dig 811 presented by 811 or something like that. Whatever it was, there was like 2 or 3 811s in the title name for the Phoenix race earlier this year too. They've had a couple other weird ones. So Bobby Hamilton Jr. with the 2nd place run and getting some laps led goes from 4th to 2nd in the standings after the 2 drivers ahead of him in points, Kyle Busch and Ron Hornaday, both blew engines in DNF. That gives Kevin Harvick now a 420-point lead with 7 races to go. My goodness. Harvick has not DNF'd on the season so far, and that has led to this big points lead this late in the year. I think the dozen wins to go along with it have definitely helped as well. And again, the max amount of points you can score in a single race is 190. So it is probably going to take 2 DNFs now for somebody to have a real good chance to get to Harvick. Just got to keep finishing races. That's the big thing. All right, well, that's going to wrap it up. Like, share, and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. I will see you guys in the next video. It will be a premiere of our next race that I'm about to run right now. It will be at Kansas for the NASCAR Busch Series. That will be on the channel tomorrow. Hit the bell notification button. Hopefully you guys get notified. Like, share, and subscribe. That premiere will be, I can't guarantee exactly what time. You guys will see it, I'll literally set the time for the premiere as soon as I get the video edited. I'm gonna record it tonight. Bring my laptop to work so I can work on it during my breaks. I have a 20-minute break at 9, half-hour lunch break at noon, and another 20-minute break at 2:30. I should have it done by that last 2-minute break or last 20-minute break. So at the latest, we're probably looking at 3 o'clock tomorrow. But I might set it more for the evening time. Just so that way, like, if I do get home, like, after work, I usually don't get home till, like, 5:15, 5:30. If I come straight home, which I will because of the cup race being on tomorrow. So I'll probably be in the chat for the end of the race, but I probably won't be in the chat for the first half to first 2/3 of the race. So I'll probably set it for a later, like, evening start time tomorrow, late afternoon start time, somewhere around then. So, again, be on the lookout. I'll be in the chat. watching along with you. I'm hoping it'll be a good race because I will not have you guys to talk to throughout the course. I'll just be talking to myself. Like, share, and subscribe, everybody. That's like the third time I've said that now. I'm getting out of here. Have a good rest of your night.